If you were to create a pasta Green Bay Packers inspired, what would it be?
I feel like I'd have to go cheese curd or something.
Cheese curd pasta? Could you do a cheddar cheese pasta? Because, I mean, the Cheesehead, what is that, Swiss cheese or cheddar cheese?
That just blew my mind, actually, because
It looks like cheddar, but now I'm looking at I've never
the
thought
holes,
about it
though,
myself.
makes it, you think it's Swiss. It's got to be cheddar. It's cheddar.
Does cheddar have holes, though?
That one does.
The mice got to it. All right. We're just going to go with cheddar, but I'm not sold.
I mean, I think it has to be something cheese-based,
for sure.
right? I mean,
Alfredo?
it'd be Alfredo. Maybe like a cheese curd stuffed ravioli or something.
Ooh. How would you make it not have too much cheese? Would you do like a
Can
red?
you have too much cheese? Yeah, you can.
You can definitely have too much cheese. Like you can't do Alfredo and cheese curd ravioli. Would you do like a red sauce?
I think I would do a pesto for the green.
Ooh.
Right?
That sounds fantastic. What's going on, everybody? We're back with another episode of Tune Into Dillon. We are without co-host Will Tune In today, but the show goes on, and we have a guest. He's a little taller in stature than Will, and he makes way better pasta. We got Ryan Peters, a.k.a. Peters Pasta. If you guys want to call him Peter, you can call him Peter. He says he gets it all the time. But we got Ryan. How you doing today?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming out here. And I don't know if people can read your hat there, but you got the pasta upside down. I've been seeing a lot of those hats lately.
Yeah.
For things upside down lettering.
It gets the attention, to be honest.
What inspired the hat today?
I figure stay on brand with the pasta,
Yep.
you know, not wear any black and gold in here. And figured that'd just be fighting words, you know?
Well, I mean, I feel like the last time, the Steelers and Packers met in a very big game, it went in our favor. So.
Yeah.
Maybe we run it back this year, though. Both teams are looking good. We'll save the football for the end. We'll just
yeah, we'll see what happens.
I did have this question, and I did want to kind of start this off. Does all pasta taste the same?
No, not even close.
Not even close.
See, people think it does, but I don't know. I could like nerd out on pasta, but I just think there's levels to it, to be honest.
Okay.
Like with any food or with wine or with anything, like there's just levels to it.
Just like the ingredients and how it's made? Or?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I believe that, like, good pasta, you start with either flour and eggs or flour and water. Very simple. And if you use the best quality flour and eggs, like, you're going to have a much better product than if you use, like, really shitty stuff.
Okay. So I understand that there's levels to it, but like Mexican food gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
Because people are like, it's meat and cheese, and you throw a tortilla on it or whatever, and add some guac, and it's always like a fajita there, it's all the same thing. And there's just like the steak might be a little better. Isn't pasta just noodles in different shapes?
I mean, I guess
Is there a difference between like from noodle to noodle? Does one taste different?
I think so. I think the shape
changes the taste.
how it tastes. Yeah,
Really?
I do.
Okay. I mean,
everybody here right now is probably thinking I'm crazy for saying that.
Well, you're the expert.
I
If anybody knows, you know.
Maybe I'm just crazy.
Like, I'm not going to go to my sommelier at dinner and tell him, like, the wine doesn't taste different, but that's a good, I genuinely, like, before I even knew you were going to actually be able to come here, we've been talking about you coming on the podcast for a little bit, and I was like, this question is burning. It's like, all pasta is essentially the same.
Well, next time, whenever I have you on my pod, we're going to do a blind taste test.
Yes.
And we'll see if you can taste the difference, and I guarantee you will.
Well, I know that you started out as a chef. And you're out of the restaurant game now.
Out of the restaurants. Never been happier.
Never been happier. How did that kind of start? Was it like a family grew up cooking, or did you just have a passion for chefing it up? Or?
I wish I had that story where, like, everybody in my family was a chef, and like I grew up like working in the restaurant as like a kid washing dishes and stuff, but that just wasn't the case. Ever since I was like first, second grade, all I ever wanted to be was a chef. Not sure where the reasoning or the idea came from. It's just like all I ever wanted to do. I would draw pictures of chefs and stuff in school. And so I never really had a backup plan. It was just kind of like once I was old enough to work in restaurants, started working in restaurants, went to culinary school. And like I said, no backup plan. So if it didn't work, I was kind of screwed.
Yeah. I mean, that's a grind.
Yeah, it's a grind. And so I did that for a while and, got to where we're at now. And it's just been a journey.
And what made you want to get out of it? Like, obviously, like to put that much work, go to culinary school, all that, like have that dream.
I don't think I ever wanted to get out of it, to be
Okay.
honest. Like, I think it just happened.
Yeah.
Like, I was very happy still in restaurants before I got out, and it just, the social media thing kind of happened just as like a side hobby at first, and then I realized that it was a business.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just became like I had to make a decision, was like, I can't do both.
Yeah,
like it's not sustainable. It was 2 full-time jobs basically. And I knew that if I took a leap on social media, I still get to do what I love. And if it fails, like if I fail at it, I can go back to restaurants.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have a job anywhere. Like I feel confident in my skills. Like I know what I'm doing. Restaurants are always hiring. So it was worth the leap to take the risk.
What was that transition like? I know, because I kind of remember, I might not have been like the first follower of Peter's Pasta, but I feel like I saw you come across like TikTok and stuff early on. I feel like I followed you kind of early on. So it's like, what is that transition or that initial transition from like when you had that kind of moment? I'm going to switch from being in restaurants, and this social media has been awesome. It's really taken off. I can really make this a business.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go all in. What was kind of that like? Because I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, are like, oh, social media is the way to go, and which it is an awesome platform and a lot of opportunity, but it's also a lot of hard work as well.
A lot of hard work, and it was just like, it was really scary because it was such a risk. Like I had no idea if it was going to work. I had like, there was no more steady income, no more benefits, no more nothing. Like, but I felt that I had something there. It was obviously seeing like the proof in the concept from the reaction from the followers.
Yeah.
So it was one of those moments where I knew it was scary, but I knew I had to do it. And I kind of just, once I made that decision, I was like, all right, I'm going all in. Like I'm doubling down on this. I'm just going to grind at it. I think I went like almost a year straight of posting every single day, at least once or twice a day.
Wow.
Just like, I was like, I didn't want there to be an excuse that if it did fail, like I didn't bust my ass at it, you know? So
that's a crazy story. I don't think people realize, or like, I think it's really cool when we get on here and we have people, whether they're athletes or we've had like comedians and stuff come on, and you don't realize like all the work that goes behind it. Like,
no, I mean, people
like,
see the 45-second video that has, 100 million views, and like that's great, but like you don't see the,
when you're doing it yourself, that takes like a couple hours to edit.
Yeah, man. And you don't see the ones that flop before that like you spend all this time on that don't get 100 million views. That
like you got shadow banned.
Oh my god, bro, that was the worst. Like I remember back like when I was like really grinding on TikTok, and I would like have back to back to back like viral video, and then I'd post a video, and in an hour it would have like 1,000 views, and I'm like,
you're like, bro, I did a backflip in this one.
I'm done. Send me back to restaurants, man. Like,
send me back.
That's just how it goes, though. It's a roller coaster.
For sure. Well, I feel like you got a very loyal following, so that's got to be cool. And the people you met along the way, you're talking about growing up, you used to draw pictures of chefs and things. Have you been able to meet some of your chef idols or like people you watch growing up, things like that?
Not only just chef idols, but just like idols in general, to be honest. Like the amount of connections and like opportunities that I've gotten from just putting myself out there on social it's kind of crazy. Like I have to like take a step back sometimes and be like, wow, this is like an opportunity that not a lot of people get from, being able to just travel the country, travel the world, meet all these incredible chefs that I've looked up to, that I would, buy their cookbooks when I was in restaurants, or connect with different athletes and teams and whatever it may be, just things that I never thought possible, 3-4 years ago, that now is just becoming almost, part of my everyday life.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. I saw you did 10,000 eggs, if I'm not sure, with Mr. Beast. He's arguably one of the most well-known influencers, social media presence, whatever you want to call it. How like that's just, first of all, on what you're saying, crazy person to meet and like do a project with, but also the feat of 10,000 eggs.
Yeah.
What was that like? Can you walk us through that process for, I follow you, so I kind of see it, but for people who are just now finding out about Peter's Pasta, can you kind of give them a like walk through that whole, how that came about, what that process was like, how you even made pasta out of that?
So it started back in January of 2023. So I have a studio in my basement where I film everything, and I have a refrigerator down there that's just for eggs. I go through so many
real
eggs.
ones start in the basement.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm staying in the basement. So I have a fridge that's just for eggs, And back in January of last year, I only had a dozen eggs in there, which was like not common for me to only have 1 dozen.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, what do I do? Like, I need to make a video tonight. And so I was like, let me make a batch of pasta with 1 egg yolk. I'll spin the voiceover as I'm going to double the eggs every time, not thinking how fast this is going to compound. So I did that one. That one went crazy. I did a couple more, 1, 2, 4, everything, just going crazy. And the views were really, really ramping up. So I was like, I can't stop now. So I'm going to keep going. 16, 32, 60, we keep going. When we got to 512 egg yolks, that was at the point where I realized, if I'm going to keep going with this, I need to find a way to donate this pasta. Like, I can't, I don't want to waste this food. So I was able to team up with some organizations in Pittsburgh, donate pasta to the homeless. So that was great. So now it's like a win-win. Like, I'm making awesome content. People are going crazy for it.
Helping people.
Feeding the community. Like, why would I stop now?
You're like a modern day superhero.
It felt like it.
Somebody needs to make you a comic book like Peter's Pasta.
Right. So we did 512. We did 1,000. We did 2,000. Mind you, at 512 eggs, I told everybody that we were done. And then I kept telling everybody that I was stopping every time.
Yeah.
Did 2,000, and I did 4,000. And after 4,000, I like legit told everybody, like, we're done. Like, we can't do 8,000. It's not possible.
Yeah.
But I told all my friends, I was like, unless Mr. Beast reaches out. 2 days later, Mr. Beast reached out.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, boy. And then his team, they were like, we've been watching this series for a while. I was like, why didn't you reach out for like 4,000? Why were you waiting?
Where were we at a 500?
Come on now. So they were like, hey, like, we'd love to do it. We don't want to do 8,000, though. We want to round up to 10,000, even number. And I was like, I don't know if it's even possible to do. Like, it's just, I've never seen that much pasta be made by hand before. But I couldn't pass up the opportunity, obviously. Like you said, he's one of the biggest creators in the world. So I said yes. We hammered out the logistics of it, and we were able to make it happen and make 10,000 egg pasta.
So did you crack each egg by hand?
Yeah. We took us about 2 or 3 hours to crack all the eggs. We had about, I think, 25 or 30 college volunteers.
Yeah. Did you have to like sit in the middle of all the eggs, like the cranberry farmer? I imagine you just in the middle of like a puddle of egg yolks and just like.
I wish we would have. No, we had a whole system set up for it. Everybody had containers. So we cracked them all, separated them, and then I had to build a whole bunch of tables together and then just pour, I think it was like 600 or 700 pounds of flour out and make a big well like I do. And then it was just crossing our fingers that it would work.
Yeah.
I was so nervous, man, to like, if you guys have ever seen me like pour the egg yolks out of the bowl into the flour, something I've done hundreds of times at this point. I know how to do it, but I've never done anything with that large amount. And for that bowl, they rigged up this giant cauldron basically on hydraulics that lifted it up to pour it out. And they had tested it before with like water and ping pong balls and tennis balls, but you can't test it with 10,000 egg yolks. There's no way to know if it's going to work.
We actually did this last week.
Bro, I'm telling you, I was so nervous. Like, he pressed the button and it starts going up, and I was like, please work. If this doesn't work, like, I'm done. Like, we just wasted all this time. We wasted all these eggs, wasted everything, but
it worked out.
Yeah, thankfully it worked out. We fed hundreds and thousands of people, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. The video went wild.
That is crazy. That is awesome. And then, from there, you've been able to meet these people, and I've been following you. You started your podcast, Need to Know.
Need to Know. Yeah, that was I started it back in the summer, and it was really a way for me. I was looking for a way to just kind of try something new. I was so used to doing the short form content, and over the past 4 or 5 years, I've met some like really incredible people, and I wanted a way to kind of, use those relationships to kind of show how everybody's kind of connected to food. The way it works is like the guest comes on and I cook a meal for the guest while we just have a super casual conversation, and whether it be athletes or CEOs or celebrities or creators, whatever it may be, I think that food is the one thing that kind of ties everybody together. We can all kind of share a meal together, and
I love that. For sure.
So yeah, it's been fun. We're only about 10 episodes in, but we're having fun with it.
I saw the episode with Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Larry is.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, we're gonna keep jumping back to it, but you're talking about getting to meet with all these people, and you're in with arguably one of the greatest ever.
I mean, I grew up watching him, grew up playing Madden with him and stuff. You know what I mean?
Grew up watching him stomp on the Steelers.
Wow. I didn't bring that up at all during his episode. I wanted to, but I was like, I
Let me not.
We gotta skip past that. But yeah, he was a cool one. That was a bucket list one for sure.
So do you view the podcast, the Need to Know podcast, do you view it as a way to also network as well?
Yeah.
I feel like you're saying, getting the food, having a meal, sign me up for sure anytime. I'd love a home cooked meal,
Yeah.
chat. I feel like that's one of those settings, like you were saying, where everybody can kind of feel comfortable.
Yep.
Do you feel like that's an awesome opportunity for you to also network on future projects with people when
100%.
you're just talking about?
I think it just shows one, like the guest in a different light, but me too. Like people are just so used to seeing me for 30 seconds, you know.
For pasta.
Yeah, that's it. But like now we're talking about other things and we're getting deeper on certain things. And I think it allows the audience just to like, see more. But like you said, just another way to network and bring on other opportunities.
For sure. That's awesome. I'm excited for like just more episodes. You said you're 10 episodes in now?
10 episodes in, yeah.
How often are you trying to?
Man, it's been rough, to be honest. And I haven't even talked about this, but like I originally wanted to do one episode every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're not doing that anymore just because it's been tough because the level of guests that we're trying to get, I've been like very firm on the standard that for the guest, the criteria I look for is to have them be one of the best, most influential people in their field. Mm-hmm. Like that's a high standard of guest to have, but I believe that like if we keep going with that, it kind of sets us apart from. Yes, I could get everyday random people or just friends and whatever people in Pittsburgh and stuff and make it easier and bust out a lot of episodes, but. I just think going with the higher caliber guests just kind of makes us a little bit different.
Yeah, no, I like that. It seems like you have very high standards, but you need to, especially somebody 100%. In your field. The same thing when we asked the first question, the difference between pasta, you right away. Well, it's the quality of stuff you put in it.
Right.
The podcast,
100%.
The quality of who I have on it.
Yep.
So I like that. I like that. Like you are who you are.
That's it.
I can't get mad at that by any means.
Yeah.
I do want to know, I forgot to ask this when we were talking egg yolks.
Yeah.
How many egg pours or how often does an egg pour go wrong?
I don't think I've had one go wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
That bad in 1,000%.
I think. Josh
is over there shaking his head. He's like,
I mean, he always gets nervous for something.
I get real nervous. When we did the 4,000 egg batch, I had the Pittsburgh Pirates mascot, the parrot.
Yeah.
He helped me, and he was like in full costume. And the bowl that we used for 4,000, like you could only lift it like using your fingertips.
Oh.
Okay. So like, imagine lifting a bowl with 4,000 eggs.
How heavy is that?
I think it was like 170 pounds.
That's a lot with just the fingertips.
Just your fingertips.
Yeah.
And this parrot, he has like these gloves on. And nobody heard it on camera. Well, I don't know. Nobody heard it on camera, but right when we lifted, you could hear me say, I could hear me say, oh shit, don't drop it. Because like we both lifted it up, the bowl started wobbling, and that's the most nervous I've been for one that we were going to spill. But we've never had any disasters yet.
Well, yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on wood, man, please. It is nerve-wracking every time, but.
You brought it up. You brought the Pittsburgh Pirates. What is your favorite Pittsburgh sports team?
Where are we at?
Can you answer that? We're in Green Bay. Green Bay. Nothing to get fall through.
Nah, I don't. It's hard to say, to be honest. Like,
which one were you more of a fan of growing up? Growing up as a kid. Oh, really?
Yeah. So I grew up outside of Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up an all Philly fan.
Did you switch?
I switched. Yeah.
What was the switch?
I pretty much stopped following sports when I was working in restaurants, just because I didn't have time anymore. So that was like a 7-year period where I wasn't following sports. And then when I got back into it is when I moved to Pittsburgh back in like 2016, 2017. And the Pittsburgh like sports culture is just like it's easy to attach yourself to. I started to get to know a lot of the players for all 3 teams, started cooking for them, and it just like... It became easy to root for them at that point. So this point, though, I'm all in on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I will say you did, when we played the Steelers, you came by the hotel and I forget exactly what you brought, but you came over and you're like, hey, no, don't worry. Like, I got you. Came to the hotel and it was like these little Tupperware containers.
Yeah.
And you made this pasta fresh, whipped it up.
Yeah.
And I remember I had some and I was like, man, this is great. And I'm eating in our... We get good food, we go to the hotels, it's kind of like buffet style, it's solid food. And so I'm eating, and guys are like, What you got over there? Like Aaron Jones is like, hey, what's that? I'm like, here, take a bite. Like, this is my guy Peter's
Man,
pasta.
you have no idea how nervous I was though, because I was like, man, I told my wife when I got home that night, I was like, if AJ goes out and has a career game tomorrow, this is not good for me as a Steelers fan.
Longest run of my career
Holy
after I had that pasta.
no more pasta.
Longest run of my career, fueled by Peter's pasta.
Oh man, I was also thinking though, like, man, what if he goes out and like
Shits the bed.
he has a career-ending injury or something? I was like, man, oh my god.
Ryan Peters, you know to call.
Yeah. No, it worked out though.
What is your favorite pasta dish?
Favorite pasta dish is tagliatelle bolognese.
Eat like
Yeah.
no hesitation.
I could eat it every day.
Would you like? Is there a place for this type of pasta? Is there somewhere you'd go that's like, you know what, this is where I want it from, or would you rather just make it very well yourself?
I think I'd rather make it well myself.
Yeah.
I've like perfected how I prefer it. I mean, there's a lot of different Italian food cultures. Everybody has their kind of little things and
Niche.
stuff. So I think it's how I would make it. I think would be my go-to.
I get that. I kind of feel that with like hot chocolate.
Yeah.
You know,
You a big hot chocolate guy?
I am, especially now that it's starting to get colder out. You know, the right amount of a ratio from, you know, hot chocolate. If you add a little milk in there, if you're doing marshmallows, what kind of
I
marshmallows?
got a question for you.
Yeah.
You make your hot chocolate with milk?
Yeah.
My what? I make hot chocolate with water.
I mean, I know people who do that, just hot water and chocolate.
Yeah, my wife found this out. My wife and I have been together for 12 years.
Yeah.
She just found this out like a week ago.
Does she make it with milk?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I know people do it with water, and I feel like
I feel like a peasant now. She was like,
yeah,
making fun of me.
that is kind of crazy, bro.
She's like, what do you mean you do it with water?
The what? You're just drinking chocolate water? Have you ever had chocolate water before? You had chocolate milk, right?
Yeah.
You ever had chocolate water?
Nah.
You're having chocolate water with marshmallows. That's kind of crazy, bro.
I mean, thinking about it now, once she told me that and I thought about it, I was like, you know what, that is kind of whack. Like, why am I doing that? But
I mean, you're so invested at this point. Like,
I can't switch it up.
Yeah,
now.
you can't. Have you tried chocolate? Have you tried hot chocolate with milk base?
No.
Might blow your mind.
Probably will.
I feel like you gotta try everything at least once.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, I can't make great pasta, but if you need me to before you leave, I can make you some hot chocolate to go.
That's funny.
My wife and I, we are big foodies, self-taught
I
foodies.
see it all the time.
Yeah, we have Dining with Dillon's a little food blog here, and we you asked me some of my favorite places in Green Bay. We try to, when we go on vacation and stuff, we'll post about where we ate, and we also do a lot of stuff locally. And we started our foundation this year.
Cool.
The Dillon Family Foundation, and it was really cool hearing you talk about how you donate a lot of the pasta that you make.
Yeah.
Really making a difference back in Pittsburgh, and that's really, really cool. And what you did with Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
What we're centered around is, you know, empowering families who are less fortunate, provide them resources, and then also just like combating food insecurity.
It's huge, man. It's a big problem everywhere.
So it's like it was really cool to hear you talk about that. And I did want to ask, just kind of, you said you've cooked for a few of the Pittsburgh teams. You've cooked for athletes, obviously. Do you feel like I'm going back to high school football days? You get at least in my public high school in New London, Connecticut, we used to have pasta night the day before the game, Thursday. Just we'd have a bunch of people make like spaghetti and meatballs and just carb load, get ready for the game. How do you feel like as far as like nutrition wise? Like, is there a healthy pasta or is there like a best pasta pre-game? Like if the Steelers call you in and the Steelers are going to play for the Super Bowl and they're like, hey, Ryan, we need you to make us our pregame meal or the night before. We want the best.
I don't think I'm going to be the man for that. I'll just I'll put my hand up right now and say that I might not be your guy because I don't really make healthy pasta. I mean, it's healthy, but like I use a lot of butter. Butter's not great for you.
But it tastes great.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not worried about. We're just, you know, what are you putting out there?
I mean, I think too that a lot of the guys that I've cooked for, they are definitely health focused and like conscious, but they're also not like super crazy about it. And they more so just want like really good food.
Yeah,
usually pretty simple stuff. Which honestly, that makes the job easier for me then, because like simple good food is healthy. Like you're not overdoing it with crazy stuff. You're not processing it any certain way. So I think it's pretty simple, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of, like you said, good ingredients.
100%.
I mean, it's gonna be pretty good.
It's that simple.
Good for you too.
Yeah.
If you were to create a pasta Green Bay Packers inspired, what would it be?
I feel like I'd have to go cheese curd something.
Cheese curd pasta.
You know, maybe like a cheese curd.
Could you do a cheddar cheese pasta? Because I mean, the cheese said that, or no, what is that? Swiss cheese or cheddar cheese?
That just blew my mind actually, because
It looks like cheddar, but now I'm looking at I've never
the
thought
holes
about it
though
myself.
makes it, you think it's Swiss.
I'm gonna look this up because I asked that question not doing any thought process before I asked it. It's not on the script. Packers Cheesehead.
That's actually crazy. If it's Swiss, there's no way it's Swiss.
Packers Cheesehead.
It's got to be cheddar. It's cheddar.
Does cheddar have holes though?
That one does.
The mice got to it.
It's got to be. Like the cheese emoji on your phone is like that, but I think it's supposed to be cheddar.
All right, we're just gonna go with cheddar, but I'm not sold. I've only seen Swiss cheese sliced.
Yeah,
What does it look like as a block?
kind of like that, to be honest.
Does it?
Yeah,
Like, does it have like see-through holes?
yeah.
We just groundbreaking event.
But it's not yellow or orange, whatever that is.
I know. I mean, it's cheddar color.
I mean, I think it has to be something cheese based,
for sure.
right? I mean,
Alfredo.
could be Alfredo. Maybe like a cheese curd stuffed ravioli or something.
Ooh. How would you make it? How would you make it not have too much cheese? Would you do like a
Can
red?
you have too much cheese? Yeah, you can.
You can definitely have
you
too much cheese. Like you can't do Alfredo and cheese curd ravioli. Would you do like a red sauce?
I think I would do a pesto for the green,
Ooh,
right?
that sounds fantastic.
Then it wouldn't be too cheesy. It'd
Cheese
be
curd
fresh, brighten it
ravioli
up.
with fresh pesto.
Yeah, and then like maybe like I learned about this today actually. Maybe some sort of like cherry marmalade. You guys got a lot of cherries up in Door County.
Door County. That's
We were at a brewery today, and she had me taste this cherry beer. These Door County cherries. Maybe do like a little cherry marmalade on top. I don't know.
Door County mention. You might not be familiar with this, but I am actually the mayor of Door County.
I've seen when she mentioned it today. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen AJ post some stuff about Door County.
Yep. I have the key. So next time we get you out here, you're out here for longer. So Josh, whoever else you want, bring out the whole team.
Yeah.
You don't even have to make any pasta. I won't make you make pasta.
Well, I probably will.
You can make it if you want. I mean, I'll eat it, but we'll bring you out. You have some good time.
Love it.
It's the Cape Cod of the Midwest.
Is that right?
That's what they call it.
Who calls it that?
Everybody.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
You go around Green Bay, you ask people, where's Cape Cod of the Midwest? They'll point you up north.
I believe you.
They'll point you that way.
I believe
Straight to the top.
Yeah.
What is your thoughts on, would you ever do any competition cooking shows?
I don't think so. I've gotten asked to a bunch of times, and I've always turned it down. I don't think so. I just, like, at this point in my career where I'm at now, I think that, not that I don't need them, because there's always great exposure to get from it, but, like, when you go on those shows, like, I've had a lot of friends that are on them and stuff, and, like, you don't control the final edit, and they could paint you a certain way. And it's just, like, with where I'm at now and, like, the audience that I've already built, like, do I really need to like shift things a certain way right now?
Yeah. You got a good thing going.
Yeah, I mean, never say never. I like competing and stuff, but
You could make your own show.
I could.
You could be a pasta judge, and they make the pasta for you.
I would love to go on and like judge Chopped one day. I think that'd be fun.
Chopped.
Yeah.
What's the most pasta-centric show?
I don't think there is one.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll make one. We'll get on that.
That'd be sick.
We'll get on that.
I'm thinking about Little You. You know, have you ever seen MasterChef Junior?
Of course.
That's like my favorite cooking show.
I do love watching
the little
this show. These
8-year-olds.
kids go crazy.
Oh my god, they know how to make this.
I know. It's amazing. These kids are wild.
I wouldn't even know where to
do it.
look for that on Pinterest.
I don't know how they do it. To be like, they'll be like, they'll tell them to go make a souffle.
Yeah.
These kids just like start whipping up stuff. I'm like, how are they doing it? I don't get it.
All I know is their parents are geniuses.
That's a
like,
fact.
hey, you know what, little Ruby, we're gonna put you in this room, and they're like, yeah, I've been cooking half my life. I'm 8.
It's crazy.
We're gonna put you in this room. Go ahead, make that steak for daddy. You
Yeah,
come out for a full meal.
It's wild, man. These kids are wild.
They're very talented. All right, I made a bold take the other day. I was hosting an Eat event at the Children's Museum here, and it was an awesome event. We sponsored, got them some fun times, and we brought Santa, took a trip from the North Pole and came down and saw some kids, and we had some great meals and stuff like that. But I was talking, and I said that I would argue, this is not pasta related, I would argue that video games are more beneficial than reading books. To an extent. Not educational books, not like school books, but if you're talking like make-believe, fantasy, and everything like that.
I can see that.
It's like if you're playing a video game, you have to, if you're playing with friends, you have to communicate, teamwork, problem solve. You got to dialogue on screen.
You got to think fast.
Storyline.
Yeah.
Neither one of them you're being, like you're running around being active.
Right.
So the other one, you're just sitting there.
I can agree with that. I like that take.
I feel like it's not a terrible take to have.
It's not a terrible take. If you think about it, it's not a terrible take.
Because I caught some flack for that. Go.
Nah, that's whatever.
All right. Favorite pasta dish? Rapid fire.
Tagliatelle bolognese.
Most underrated pasta dish?
Ooh. Most underrated?
Yep.
Lasagna.
Okay. What's harder to master, sports or food?
Sports.
Dream dinner guest, dead or alive?
Taylor Swift.
If you could only eat one type of food forever besides pasta, what would it be?
Scrambled eggs.
Okay. I can make good scrambled eggs. Dude, we're set.
Scrambled
I got
eggs, hot
chocolate, scrambled eggs, maybe not together, but what is the most random place or most amazing place you cook pasta at?
I would say most random, the 108th floor of the Empire State Building. Second most awesome, Lambeau Field.
I love it. Coming soon. Would you rather tackle an NFL running back or eat only boxed mac and cheese for the rest of your life? Or rest of the year?
Rest of the year? Oh, boxed mac and cheese. If it was the rest of my life,
just take that hit.
Yeah, I'm taking the hit. I'll recover. But for 1 year, I can survive on boxed mac.
This is obviously a primarily football-centric pod, so we do got to ask some football questions. You already said you grew up a Philly fan. Now you're Steelers.
Yeah.
How many NFL stadiums have you been to, and which has been your favorite to watch a game at? I know you've cooked a lot of pasta at places, but do you always stay for a game?
I've been to a lot. I don't know how I've lost count at this point. I've been like really fortunate.
Well, there's only 32.
I don't know. I've probably been to like 15.
Okay.
Would you say my favorite?
Yeah, I mean, and
to watch a game.
To watch a game at so far.
I don't know if I have one.
Okay, you can give a couple.
Can I give you three?
Yeah, sure. I like that. No particular order.
As an away fan. So these were all ones where we were playing the Steelers, like they were playing the Steelers. So I was there as a Steelers fan. Number one would be Kansas City. Number two would be Green Bay.
Okay.
And then number three has like an asterisk next to it, but would be Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Did you tailgate?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Buffalo's pretty sick.
Yeah, they're kind of wild. they're mean.
I don't want no goddamn
I didn't
pasta.
like that Bills Mafia. They didn't like me.
Bills Mafia bullying Peter? Peter's pasta? Ryan Peters.
They didn't like me at all. Green Bay loved me. When I was here with Green Bay a couple years ago, they were great.
Were you wearing the black and yellow?
No, I don't. If I'm there like doing stuff with the team, I just go neutral.
What was your thoughts on the green and yellow song when it came out after black and yellow?
Wait, who did it? It was who put that out?
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm a big Lil Wayne fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ran out of the tunnel with us
Did he?
one time.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
it was awesome.
Yeah, Lil Wayne's the man.
We were all walking out of the locker room. We're getting in the tunnel, and they got our highlights and stuff up there, and like they got Lil Wayne playing, and all of a sudden, like I'm like, who the heck? Who the heck is that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it's Lil Wayne.
That's awesome.
He let us out the tunnel. It was sick.
That's sick.
There's a legitimate chance your childhood team
Yep.
and your now grown adult team play in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
potentially,
We play them this week too.
and you play this week.
Yeah.
So a little prelude. What's the in-state rivalry like for you? I'm sure you got a bunch of friends and family that are on both sides of that. What's that like? I've never been part of that. I've been part of the Boston, New York, or all the Midwest here. What's that rivalry like?
The rivalry isn't that bad for football, to be honest.
Okay.
It's more for hockey. Like Penguins, Flyers.
Is like those are fighting words?
Yeah, that ain't fun. But like Steelers, Eagles, like I feel like if one team isn't doing well, like it's easy to root for the other team, you know?
Yeah.
But like all my family, like my mom, my stepdad, everybody, they're all huge Eagles fans. So hopefully we come out on top this year. But
Is there like a distinguishing factor between a Philly fan and a Pittsburgh fan, or is there something else like
you're gonna get me in trouble.
No, I mean this is a friendly podcast. It's just like,
Get me in
is there
trouble.
something you're like, this guy's a Philly guy?
I think, I feel biased though as a Steelers fan now because I feel like Philly fans are a little bit rougher around the edges.
Yeah.
I feel like Pittsburgh fans are a little bit more refined, a little bit more classy.
Okay.
Man, I'm gonna get so much heat for
You're
saying.
good. Well, no, you're good, dude. You got to paint like
No, but I do love Philly fans because they're
for
passionate.
sure.
They're a good football team, fan base, just like the Steelers. But I don't know. I side with Pittsburgh now.
You got all right. You got to. We'll leave it here after this, but you got to give us an example like what you mean because I don't think there's a single person until we announce that you're on the podcast.
The Eagles fans were throwing batteries at Santa. That's a thing.
He was probably giving him coal.
I mean, they definitely got coal that year. Like, I
Yeah.
don't see any Steelers fans throwing batteries at Santa.
So Steelers are the more classy fan base in Pennsylvania. Is what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
we got the championships to prove it. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh, I like it.
That's all I'm saying.
I like it.
Number 7 coming soon.
I love it. Come on. Have you been following the Packers at all?
Yeah,
this
oh
season?
yeah, for sure. They look great.
Yeah, we're coming off a tough loss against the Lions.
Yep.
We down to the wire though. Thursday night football, you want a game that is going
It was
10
a
out of
great
10
game too.
We got a game looking forward to going to Seattle.
Yep.
Beating the Seahawks. We want your take. What do the Packers need to do to beat the Seahawks this week?
I don't think they need to do that much different of what they've been doing. I think they've been playing really well, and I think they have the weapons and the team to win big this year. I just think it's a matter of everything kind of coming. I think it's any team though, like in the NFL, like right now, like all the like the heavy hitters this year.
Yeah.
Whether it be the Packers, the Steelers, the Chiefs, whoever it may be, like these are all teams that I think are built to win right now. And I think it's just a matter of everybody like getting on the same page.
Firing on all cylinders.
100%.
I love it. Well, do you have anything else coming up? Anything you want to promote? Shout out all the Pittsburgh fans. Obviously, you know what side of Pennsylvania he rocks with.
100%. No, I mean the only thing is just the Need to Know podcast, like we talked about earlier. We're coming big with guests with that. Trying to just make something special with that, and that's kind of obviously everything else, all the short form content's always going to be there. And yeah, just kind of staying on top of things.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the
Appreciate you
podcast.
having
And
me.
as always, everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Dillon for another episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. And, of course, make sure you check out Peter's Pasta on all platforms and the Need to Know podcast coming soon.
Peace.